Alright, so Carl Frampton got a split decision victory over Scott Quigg. Personally, I thought Carl Frampton won, more clearly than a split decision, albeit the two of the judges had it pretty much the way I had it, 116, 112. The only judge that had it the other way was 113, 115 for Scott Quigg. And, otherwise, the fight went, it just, pretty fairly easy to score. In my opinion, I thought Frampton was pretty much dominating the first like 6 rounds, just about. I gave one of those to Quigg though, but otherwise, Frampton was just outboxing him and outspeeding him. Basically, Quigg was too tentative, and he was giving Frampton enough room to pretty much do as he wanted and just kind of peck away and score points. Essentially, they weren't hurting blows, but they were scoring blows, and it was enough to basically nick what would otherwise be, themed as close rounds. And Quigg really wasn't doing much until finally about the sixth and the seventh round when he started to ratchet up the body work, and then finally once he started having success there, he really ratcheted it up, and it started sweeping rounds late. Problem is he was trying to dig himself out of such a huge hole that by the time like round 11 and 12 came, he basically needed a knockdowns or a knockout to win the fight. And even though he was looking like he might have come close right there in like the 10th and the 11th, it just wasn't gonna happen because Frampton he hadn't done quite enough work. He would have had to have started that work earlier, but again, that would have put him at bigger risk for either getting caught with a fresher Frampton with more power and or gassing out himself and getting caught later with the hand speed and the pop from Frampton. But he showed pretty good punch resistance. Although a lot of that had to do with the fact that he was pretty much shelled up most of the time. Quigg really wasn't letting his hands go. But it's really a shame that this fight hadn't happened earlier because there was so much build up, and I think all the build up really played into the hype for both guys, and so both guys were so afraid of making a mistake that's why they fought so damn tentative. Basically, the first 6 7 rounds and made this fight a little bit of a dud in comparison to what it was built up to be. So it's really kind of a shame that these guys didn't put on a better fight. It's really a shame that Quigg really wouldn't let his hands go until late. If he would have done that a few rounds earlier, then the fight would have been cracking. It was a good 4 rounds of solid action there that really probably should have been stretched out a bit longer. So I'm not really gonna blame Frampton for that as much as I'm gonna blame Quigg for it. But even still, Frampton was a bit too tentative himself. He should have really pressed the advantage. Especially for one of the judges to have given Quigg the benefit of so many of those close rounds. Frampton definitely should have pressed the advantage as really the better boxer with the faster hands and the faster feet. So Frampton did a good job. The word is that he was having trouble making weight in his last couple of fights, but he said after the fight that he had no trouble making this weight, that he came in okay and healthy and all that good stuff. But he looked pretty heavy in the ring to me. He looked just as heavy, if not heavier, than Quigg, who's a little bit of a taller guy with a bigger frame. So, that's saying something for Frampton. So if he does move up, obviously Lee Selby's probably the biggest money for him. So that would probably be the fight that he would take, going up to 126 if he was to do that. Of course, they're already trying to build up for him versus Leo Santa Cruz, which of course would be a good fight also. Big fight maybe in Cali. Or hey, if Leo's game shit, send him to Ireland, have him fight Frampton over there. That's cool too. Uh, Otherwise, you also got guys like Gary Russell out there. You got Escandon versus the the Robinson Castellanos winner. Was it Robinson Castellanos that he was fighting? I believe so. Damn it! Now I gotta look this shit up. Robinson Castellanos, yeah, it was Robinson Castellanos versus Escandon. I made a mistake in the other vid. I said it was Randy Caballero. Um, Mixing those two guys up. But the winner of that fight will be a good opponent for him. Uh, I mean, and the thing is, a lot of people they're talking about Regendow, like that shit is dead in the water from the beginning because the whole Rock Nation versus Heyman thing, So Rigo's really gonna have a tough time getting fights with any of these guys because so many of them are with Heyman. Hugo Ruiz is with Heyman. Leo Santa Cruz is with Heyman. Carl Frampton is with Heyman. Lee Selby is with Heyman. Gary Russell's with Heyman. Let me see. Shit, who else is with him? Fucking Ray Vargas is with Heyman. Ray Vargas was actually in negotiations with Rigo before that happened. But I'm getting all off topic in this video. Like, this video is way more about Frampton than anybody else. So, I mean, Frampton has some good big money fights in the future for him. Even if they happen to run it back right here with Quigg, depending on how the pay-per-views do. I'm not sure if that would be an immediate type thing though. Like, Quigg would probably have to get a win or two under his belt, maybe cut another top contender off at the pass in order to really deserve a rematch with Frampton though, because Frampton otherwise pretty handily outskilled and outschooled him. So that's that, and on to the next.